Hi friends, welcome to Lotus in the Light. Welcome. If you find yourself listening to this video, I think Spirit has a message for you about balance. So I'm really using this time as kind of a processing session, a video journaling, something that I'm going through. I've been getting messages over and over and over, continuous messages about balance from Spirit, and I'm not really sure why. Because I mean, if I look at my life right now, it is more balanced than it has ever been, ever since I've been born onto this earth, into this earth experience. I have been, I would say, the last almost 2 years now, the last 18 plus months, I have been learning the importance of balance, a deeper level of balance than I understood prior to the last 18 months. I'll say that. I've been learning how to balance um, my human nature with my spiritual nature or divine nature. I've been learning how to balance my femininity with my masculinity. I've been learning how to balance the give and take of life, meaning the when to be in time of action and when to be in a time of rest and receiving. Um, and I mean, and I've been doing it, I feel like, very effectively at my pace, right? Everybody's pace is going to be different. So it's just interesting to me that this message keeps coming up in various ways. Something I'm watching, something I'm doing. A craniosacral therapy session this past week. My therapist said that she could feel that my body was out of balance, like the left side and the right side were out of balance, and they were working to come back into balance. And that's what she was working on in that session. Now, I've been going to her for more than a year, and I go to her somewhere between weekly to once every 1 to 2 weeks, maybe 1 to 3 weeks, depending on, the time of year and what else is going on in my life. So I've been to her many, many, many times, and never has balance been a topic. So when she said that, I thought, no surprise, because it just keeps emerging over and over and over. Today, my husband was watching a video. He likes to watch like sciencey type videos, and he was watching this. It's just like a Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or something like that video, and it was some guy talking about balancing something in your hand, and he was talking about, like, do you think it's easier to balance when the weight is when the heavier weight's at the top or at the bottom? Do you think it's easier to balance when it's this way or this way? And talking through all that, and I just had to chuckle because it just keeps coming up. So, what is the message here? And actually, I'm not one to go to cards immediately, but the last video I did, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go to some Wild Reflections Tarot. Usually I kind of reserve the cards for the very end. And it's funny because I come from a Christian background, and I was talking to a friend. I'm going to give it a little shuffle here. I was talking to a friend who is also in the Christian ministry. We both were pastors at the same time. She's still a pastor. I am not, but she was just saying, yeah, we were just talking. She doesn't quite get like where I'm at now in my um, life journey and my faith journey, and doesn't really make sense to her. And she's like, and she said, I've seen a couple of your videos, but I don't really get the cards, which makes sense. That someone of a Christian background wouldn't, that's not part of that culture. So, like, but what is that all about? And in fact, they probably would think that there's the potential that there's something evil or bad about it. And I always say nothing is inherently good or bad. Even scripture says everything can be used for the good of those who love, for the good of those who love God. And I do believe that that is divinely true. The cards become an outlet, right? The cards are like when you hear a scripture and you're like, oh, that's it. Now, somebody of faith would say, well, yeah, but that's the Bible, right? Like, that's the only place God can show up in a book or on paper, is in the Bible. Okay. Well, what about when you walk out of church on a Sunday morning and you're like, man, that message was like so on point for me. It's exactly what I needed to hear. God met me right where I am. Okay. Somebody might say, well, yeah, but that's in church. It's a holy place, right? Okay, what about when you're listening on the radio and you hear that message? Now, for a Christian, that might be on a Christian radio station, but for somebody else, it might not be. Where you hear some message, you're like, that's exactly, it might be a motivational speaker that has nothing to do with faith. And you're like, that message just spoke right to me. So again, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It could be in a movie. It could be on a YouTube video. It could be in a book you're reading. It could even be a trashy novel that you're reading, but something resonates because the divine will meet you where you are. Always, if you're open to it. If you're open to it. Now, the moment you squirm away in fear, then the message is lost, right? Okay, I got three. These two are facing down and upside down, so we'll figure that out in a minute. Um, okay, Page of Cups. So I'm thinking about this again through the lens of balance. So what do we have to learn here? So the Page of Cups, um, this is somebody who's starting something new. The page is like, it's like the start of the journey, right? The start of the journey. And this is in particular a journey of um, emotional fulfillment. And you can kind of see like the sparkles all around, right? Like the sun is shining and well, you can't really see the sun, but he's got his little umbrella there, I think, to block the sun. But he's on the water, the waves are splashing. He's got his little shell, and he's just kind of at the beginning of this like enjoyment of life. And so I'm just tuning in here. Give me a moment. I don't see any worries here. Um, And I do want to take note of like this orange color here. So it's orangish yellow. So it's like on the verge of like sacral chakra energy and solar plexus energy. And sacral chakra is about your desires. That's what's going to give you emotional fulfillment. Sacral chakra, it's in your body. It sits where your sex organs are. So it's about your creative energy. It's about desire, and it's what fuels then the next chakra up, which is your solar plexus, which is like that energy of action. Your solar plexus is like the life force within you. It's that energy to move forward. But the motivation for that energy generally comes from the sacral chakra, your creative center. So I think this message about to me about finding my balance is really about as I come into my balance, opportunities are opening up for me in terms of like where I'm finding creative outlets. Today actually I was I don't know what I was on. Is it on Facebook or YouTube or something? And there was I think it was Facebook, and there was like this art class of like how to paint these like abstract looking flowers and da, da, da. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to do that. Like this is one of those like sip and paints, and I'm so proud of this painting back here because I'm a person that historically cannot even draw stick people. So when they came out with these paint sip places where they teach you step by step, and you're able to come out with something like this when you were sitting on the talent that I was sitting on, it's pretty impressive. So yeah, pretty impressive. So that's interesting. So Page of Cups, and then we have the Eight of Cups and the Hierophant. Okay, so these two kind of came out together, separate from this. So this new kind of creative journey starting. It's going to provide a lot of fulfillment because this is Page of Cups. So we're talking about emotional fulfillment, pleasure, joy, and then we have the Eight of Cups. Now the Eight of Cups. Look, she's creating all the stuff, right? She's creating all the fulfillment, all the pleasure, all the joy. There's like it's just all around. It is all around. It's beauty all around her. Um, and she comes out with the Hierophant. So I think, the idea, the Hierophant is about just deep wisdom and knowledge and learning. Oftentimes it's about learning or being a teacher or being a student, right? So I think, I'm learning to find the balance in life, and the balance is providing abundance of peace, of joy. Look, this represents peace to me. It's an abundance of peace, abundance of joy, abundance of um, uh, the other thing that I do notice is that you see how this is kind of coming into the evening, right? The evening, like the sun is going down and kind of seeing the moon up here. So again, it's that balance. Like the sun illuminates and allows us to see the beauty of life around us, but the moon offers us that kind of quiet pause and reflection that we don't always have time for or aren't always focused in on during the day, right? So again, the balance is bringing the abundance. Oh, I love it, and that's coming ultimately through a deep, deep wisdom. And so I am spending quite a bit of time going within, spending time in meditation, spending time connecting with spirit. And the way I get my wisdom now is so different. I used to be such an over analyzer. And if I wanted to know or learn about something, I would I would spend tons of time reading and researching and studying and whatever. And now I just ask spirit, and then the answers they either just come and pop into my mind, or I'll see something or hear something or whatever and be like, oh, I literally just posed that question to spirit. I literally have a page in my journal. I keep like a journal on my phone. I literally have a notes page that's just questions for spirit with the date, and then I go back in with the date when I get an answer. So it's pretty cool, pretty awesome. Okay, so I like this. I like this getting confirmation about just sitting in with the wisdom of the universe, tapping into nature. That's really important. See what he's doing? He's really tapping into creation for that wisdom. Oof, I love this. And so I'm on a journey that starts here, but gets to here, right? Gets to that. Like Eight of Cups is all about like really um, creating, I can create anything. That's the thing here. I can create anything that I want. Like the possibilities are endless. Okay, I was kind of feeling this oceans when I was looking for that deck, this ocean dream. So maybe we'll just close out on this message here, a message from here. We'll just ask spirit to, oh, look, this kind of looks nice with my shirt. Sorry, something already popped out. To Maybe we'll go to both. I'll show you what they are. Do I need to cover anything? Maybe I'll cover the high knee on this one because it's got a person swimming. So here's the two that popped out: Temple of the Sea and Sovereignty. Okay, so those are the two beautiful cards that popped out. And I think I'm just, where did the book go? There it is. I think I'm just going to go to the book and read what this one has to say. Temple of the Sea. Let me, while I'm flipping to it, I'll see what energy I pick up from it. I mean, I'm seeing like this crystalline castle here, and that's where all the wisdom of the earth is. That's the wisdom of the divine rests in these crystalline what am I trying to say? I can't flip through here and think of a at the same time. Um, like the wisdom that we need to create the life that we want lives within light codes, within the light that we see in this world, lives within crystalline energy, meaning like within crystals and formations that are here on Earth. Like the wisdom of the universe lives in those, lives in nature. The wisdom of the universe is in the trees, it's in the ground, it's in the animals, it's there, it's all around us. So that's kind of what I immediately get from this crystalline temple. It says full circle, dreams fulfilled, reaching the impossible, integration. That's I guess, the themes of the card. I have arrived within. I love this message because, like I said at the beginning, I kept saying to myself, why am I getting so many messages about balance when I feel like I'm more balanced than I've ever been? Like, why? Why does this keep coming up? And the other piece of that is today I got the message of balance, but also take it slow down. And I'm like, if you know me, if you watch my videos, I ain't doing anything fast these days. Like that used to be me. I used to be 100 miles an hour, always going, always doing. And now I'm like, if I don't feel divinely inspired, it ain't happening. And in fact, lately I have been so there's been so much energetic healing going on, healing in my body, that I've been taking like 2 naps a day. I mean, it's just been craziness. So this message today of like, take it slow, find your balance. And I get it, because when the tornadoes come, when the storms of life come, if you're not centered, if you're not balanced, it's going to be rough. I used to love to paddleboard, and I say used to because at the time I lived in Florida. Now I'm back in Ohio. I don't really have that opportunity, but I had a paddleboard. I would go out fairly frequently on my paddleboard. And, you get up there and you're going, and you got to keep your balance. And that becomes easier and easier with practice, right? And that's what I've been doing the last 18 months. It gets easier and easier with practice. But what that really is preparing you for are those times when maybe like the winds are rough, or maybe a boat flies through the intercoastal channel and all of a sudden you're doing this, right? um, because of the, what do you call it? The waves that it creates. Or maybe you're out in the actual, like I'd go out into the actual Gulf sometimes too, and same thing, like boats would come by and it would create waves. And yeah, so the calm, peaceful times are really preparing you for those times when those unexpected that unexpected turbulence comes. So that's all coming to me now. So I guess that's the message here, is like, keep rooting yourself in that centered, balanced nature, because a time is coming. That's what's coming through. A time is coming where things are really going to be shaken up, and you need to be firm in your foundation of truth. Okay, I'm going to read this. It says, I have arrived within. I think I already said that. Temple of the Sea shares a powerful magnetism from the depths of possibility. Can you feel it? It's always waiting just beneath the surface. When this card appears, expect a profound sense of completion in your life. When a dream that once seemed obscure rises from the depths, it reflects the manifestation of thought into form. When the threads are woven together and you finally reach the outcome, that's what this looks like. That's what this Eight of Cups looks like. You finally are reaping. You're reaping all the rewards of your energetic efforts. Sorry, I lost my place. You are exactly where you're meant to be in this moment. This powerful sign bridges the common gauge of how we each define material success. It is instead a sign towards the self-nourishing outcomes that feed your spirit, past fear, past the transitory moments of constantly striving for more. A temple is, after all, a sacred place where we return to love. You are radiating a newfound sense of wholeness and completion from a heightened state of spiritual awareness that comes from surmounting the challenges. If there are still loose ends that remain, don't fret, you're getting closer. The greatest rewards come less from conditioned desires and outcomes, and more from what will fundamentally change us to know what we are capable of creating on our own terms. If you feel that you are still in the process of moving on in some way, or if you're continuing to be emotionally invested in a past relationship or experience, uh, you give yourself some time to process and release these. There it is again. Give yourself some time. Coming into your own is not meant to be a shortcut. You're here to learn through your own tides of trial and error in order to be fully confident in your steps. Don't be afraid to make a plan of action for your strides. The universe is presenting you with opportunities to hone your discernment so you can learn how to align with what matters most, with total love, grace, and inner devotion, to feel the full capacity of what you truly want. Personal breakthroughs come when we lean into our vulnerabilities, which often precedes and necessitates our greatest accomplishment. Move beyond fear and find your temple. I absolutely love that message. Do we want to read Sovereignty? I'm compelled to just check it out. Listen, this is for me, right? If you've heard enough, you can stop right there. I am not offended. Okay, Sovereignty. And I don't know if I'll read this whole thing because I'm getting hot. My AC has broken back here in this half of my house. I don't have that big of a house, but the house is like cobbled together. It was like certain parts were built certain times, and then there was an add-on, and they didn't merge the ductwork, so I have a different AC unit back here, and it's out. And it's, can you tell? I'm a little damp. Okay. Carefree nature, reclaiming your power. I am returning to the natural state of being. I release all that does not align with my highest good. As you grow in your service to your heart, there may be moments when you must relinquish something or someone in order to make room for your own comfort. I have lived that the last 18 months. I've relinquished a lot. I will say that. This may be difficult to navigate at first, as giving up something can often feel like losing a vital mechanism in your life. And that's true. That was my experience over the last 18 months. But letting go is not always the same as cutting off a force you seemingly rely on. It is the natural flow of accepting and allowing what has already been set in motion within your heart. When you're able to fully stand in the present moment and see its infinite potential, then you become detached from the illusions of the past and future timelines. You can return to the waters that first held you, carefree and liberated from the rigid structures and judgment. As we move through our own soul spiral across many oceans of time, even though we gather new experiences along the way and grow in complexity, our heart may occasionally redirect us to our original state of being. From this place, our outer world will begin to shift in order to energetically match our inner state. Mm, I love that. That can feel disruptive when your outer world starts to shift to match your inner state and things start falling away. That can feel scary. That's part of that process of letting things go, releasing things. A lot of times, those things are people you love and relationships that you have clung to for maybe far too long. It can include roles that you've ascribed to yourself, that you've said, when you say, who am I? It's like, I am this, I am this, I am this. And oftentimes those are just roles that we have arbitrarily been assigned by someone else or have assigned to ourselves. Or maybe have defined in an unhealthy way. Like, I can be a sister, but a sister can look like this instead of this, right? Or and there's more healthy definitions of that. So letting some of those things go can be really disruptive, and that reflects even beyond our personal reality into our world, right? As we see things falling away in our world and we see things getting shaken up, and that's the process of birthing something new, which is this page of cups energy, right? The process of birthing a new um, emotionally fulfilling experience in life means a refinement process, a burning away of what's no longer serving you. It's like a baby being born. Like, a baby is in this nice warm womb, protective womb. It's protected from danger. It's nourished. The baby wants for nothing, right? This infant wants for nothing that's in the womb. It's nourished. It's protected. It's warm. It's a perfect environment for it to grow, and it continues to grow and it continues to grow until one day that container is restrictive and it's no longer serving that baby. And then it's time for that baby to come out and be birthed. It may not understand it in the time. It may be like, what the hell's happening to me? This hurts. It's painful. I'm coming through this tight space. I'm getting squeezed to death. I come out into this cold, harsh environment. I know nothing. I recognize nothing that I see. I'm no longer warm and cozy. Like, it feels tough and disruptive, and like it feels like something bad is happening to you. Wouldn't you imagine that? If you came from a cocoon, like a womb, like a mother's womb, that's what that would feel like. It would feel like something traumatic and tragic and potentially bad, but it's actually something beautiful, because now they're being given the space to further grow and to expand their experience, and they're coming into the light. They've been in this dark, safe space. We think of darkness as bad. It's not bad. It's a space for us to heal, for us to grow, for us to rest, for us to reflect. And when we're ready to move out of that into the light, like a birthing process, we come out. But that process is traumatic and it really shakes you up. And it's no different than somebody going through a depression where they've been stuck in a deep, dark place. A depressed is a deep rest. And you need that time. You need to allow that time for healing and not judge it, and not judge it when we see others going through it. Just be there for them, be compassionate, be a source of love and hope and light for them, but allow them to go through that journey in their own timing. And I have a feeling that some people needed to hear this, that in particular. So hopefully you made it all the way to the end to hear that. I don't know why. Okay, that's it. I'm leaving it right there. So I feel much better about this journey that I'm on from the beginning of something emotionally fulfilling to really manifesting that emotional fulfillment in my life. I'm feeling it already. Okay, love you all. Peace out.